All right, what's going on, people? You know that sound is the Unfiltered band means yes, another episode of Unfiltered coming your way. This will go down officially as episode number 169. Good for the game. You are always good for this game, being on board the Unfiltered Revolution, and we appreciate that. Thank you, Unfiltered band. Hop on the Revolution anytime. You can get to us a number of ways on Twitter at Casey Stern. Hop up on the Twitter sphere into the bio. Get in, subscribe, like, and get on all the videos on the YouTube channel. And give me all your thoughts there and comment. And, of course, first and foremost, thanks to where most of you are in our demographic, if you will, and that is listening Apple, Spotify, and everywhere where you get your podcasts. If you're new to this is Unfiltered. I'm Casey Stern. We pull no punches. We tell it like it is. In the world, I call it 97-3. That's not the score that Tom Brady came back from against the Falcons here in Atlanta, although it was close. 97% fake, 3% of us real. Be part of that 3%. You can be part of things right here because we, as always, presented by our good friends at BetOnline. BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. Everything from pro and college basketball to UFC, MMA, and more. You always find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends over at BetOnline. Live betting options, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or any game imaginable. BetOnline truly is the fastest and easiest way to bet all of your favorite leagues and events. Head over to the website today or use your mobile device to join. Receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV to receive your rewards. It's betonline.ag. That's betonline.ag where the game starts. We sit here at 169 and good for the game. And what could this be about? By the way, good for the game last night in the NBA, in which we will discuss here today. Well, those bigger than that. A baseball fan, hockey fan, football fan, MMA fan, golf fan, tennis fan, a sports fan. I think you could jump into this conversation and at me at Casey Stern your thoughts on this after you hear this pod app. But to me, good for the game what McClung did in really kind of just an otherworldly slam dunk contest last night and saving it literally, because that thing is just, I mean, the decrepit nature of what that's become is a whole nother story. That's not why I'm here today. Something I wanted to discuss that came out of All-Star Weekend that to me philosophically is a really important discussion to have. And whether or not it's good for the game. And I use good for the game as the title because it's a quote that Kevin Durant used in his presser at Media Day. It's a quote that Kyrie Irving has used in the past. It's a quote others have used in the past. When they talk about whether or not it's good for the game, that in the current landscape of the association right now, and we'll see how much that bleeds into other sports. Because to me, you do this in the NBA. Why can't Mike Trout do this? Yeah, sure. He shouldn't have locked up with the Angels. And now he's trying to say he's going to try to do Jedi mind tricks, get Ohtani to stay. Good luck with that, Mike. Seriously. I mean, you're great. You're not that great. That's not going to happen. Ohtani's not going to stay, but you should ask to go. A lot of times players lock into contracts and they say, no, this is where I said I was going to be. This is what I promised to do. This is who I promised to align with. This was my contract in this sport. I said I said that dotted line. I chose in free agency. I had that chance, or I chose not to go out to free agency, and I took that chance, and I said, here is where I'm going to be. And how am I then going to be with that team if they stink? If they don't get better, if the promises aren't kept, if things are bad behind the scenes, and wherein with all of that lies the question of when is it okay? When is it right? When is it something that we think is all right? And is it good for the game? Kevin Durant saying, no. You can't be getting on me for wanting to get out of Brooklyn. You can't be getting on Kyrie for wanting to get out of Brooklyn. That's great for the game, says Kevin Durant. And Adam Silver was asked about this. Kevin Durant, go look it up. The quotes are fascinating. He says, great for the game because the attention that was put on it, the attention, as he mentioned, when Kyrie asked for a trade and then gets traded to Dallas, the attention when KD asked for a trade and then gets traded and ends up in Phoenix. Now, he's right. And look, I've talked about this before, and this is not just an NBA thing. Let me tell you, it's a baseball thing. I remember years ago, I don't know how many of you are baseball fans that are listening because you heard NBA. Maybe some of you got spooked and ran, but you're a baseball fan. Remember the year Omar Infante almost made the All-Star team? You remember that? I think the game was in Kansas City, was it, right? Was that the year he was on the Royals, right? So I think that's the year that it was. But he almost made the team. The last cut, he looked like he was going to be the dude. and people freaking out. And I remember talking on the air, I had several people involved in the sport, and I don't mean covering it, I mean involved in the sport, telling me that the people at the highest level of Major League Baseball loved, and I don't mean liked, I don't mean were okay or tolerated. The people at the highest level in that sport in baseball loved that this was happening, because they loved all the conversation and all the hoopla and the hubbub about whether or not Omar Infante was going to be on an all-star team that he didn't belong to be on, yada, 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 and if he was going to start and if he was voted in, and then about whether or not we should have voting for the all-star game and all the attention. And to an extent, it's a lot of attention. What have I said before? And it's something I was told many, many years ago in this business, which is also true. If you move in the needle, you move in the needle. Nobody cares. They got to care about you. They got to feel something about you, right? Right? Well, Kevin Durant, right, really a lot of attention. But I always say to my 5-year-old daughter, who been, she's got my spirit, and she's been, acting up a bit. I always say to her, what kind of attention, you always want to think about what kind of attention you want to get. Because there are two kinds of attention in life. You can get good attention, and you can get bad attention. Now, sometimes in the media, it don't matter. Skip Bayless, right? Sometimes it doesn't matter. But you want good attention if you're a 5-year-old kid. You want good attention for the most part in your life. You're a human being trying to do the right things. But as the sport for the NBA, which is the question we're asking, we're not asking, because look, Kevin Durant didn't say it looks good on me. I give KD credit. He didn't say it looked good on me. Give Kyrie credit for this. He didn't say it looks good on me. They're saying it looks good for the game. I want to know at Casey Stern after you hear this. I want to know in those YouTube comments, are they right? A lot of times I jump in and I say, you know what? This is totally, we hide the kids. This is bullshit, right? And this is not going to work because this is what's going on in this story, right? Or this is wrong because here are the facts of the case. This is all opinion. Do you think it is good for the game? I will tell you, I teeter back and forth because I get it with the drama and I get it with the attention, but the NBA don't need drama and attention. The NBA trade deadline was bananas, didn't need drama and attention. My question to you is, did the Brooklyn Nets or anybody in the NBA need the Kyrie situation with the anti-Semitic stuff he's putting out there? Did the Brooklyn Nets or the NBA need Kyrie Irving getting at all the media members for doing their damn jobs for months? For being a curmudgeon and a pain in the ass? Is it good for the Nets and the NBA that he sat there and said, I ain't going to play. I'll leave you, KD, to go try and run and drag the team into the postseason and almost all the way to the finals because I want to play because of COVID? Was that good of the game, bad of the game? No, I don't know. You tell me. Was it good for the Nets of the game that Kevin Durant, after everything the team went through, he sat out and all this stuff, and then he came back, and then he did this, and then he did that, and now he's trying to work the team the way he wants, and then all of a sudden, right, you got Harden in there, and all of a sudden now he's saying before the season, I want the hell out. Is that good for the Nets? Good for the game? Because it's not like this just happened 10 minutes ago. It's not just like Kevin Durant just asked for a trade. It's not like Kyrie left and then Kevin Durant said, I'm out. Kyrie was saying we were disrespected and I wasn't, quote, celebrated. He said it again, second time around. These are things people always say, like when you're, I'm not saying Kyrie was drunk, so understand the analogy I'm making here, just analogy. But, you sit there and, you had a couple too many, right? You got a sake buzz, right? And all of a sudden, you're sitting there and you're texting like people you shouldn't be texting, right? And you're like, oh, shoot. And all those inhibitions out the way, like whatever you said, probably how you felt, but you like burying it down deep, right? Well, Kyrie, when you're doing this twice and now, weeks later, and you don't have the intoxication of that first presser where I'm out of there and I'm in Dallas, now you're saying it again. And he again said over at All-Star Weekend, I wanted to go, what's wrong with, and he's right. If I'm not being, here's where Kyrie's right. All right. Now, I'm not going to sit there and tell you Kyrie wasn't treated well because I think that's garbage. I'm not going to tell you Kyrie wasn't celebrated because I think that's garbage. And you're celebrated by making zillions of dollars and being at the forefront of everything and being in big enough of a public eye that when you do what you did with the anti-Semitic stuff and all that becomes what it became. All right. Because you're an all-time talented dude. You're already in the forefront. I don't want to hear you're not celebrated. That's garbage. Hot freaking garbage. But I agree with Kyrie on this point. If you're in a a business setting, I don't care what you do, right? And you're in a business setting where people treating you bad, and they're I don't even know what to him the way it makes it seem they're putting you down and disrespecting you, and they're not celebrating you. I don't even know what that was. It was on a red carpet, but whatever it is, if they ain't putting a ring on it in the way you need, and you really are being disrespected, then of course you should be able to go find another job. And while we can do that at our levels, you can't do that in the NBA. Or if you're Mike Trout, if that's the way he felt. Look, one thing to pick the wrong team, you're getting paid millions and millions and millions of dollars, but you ain't being treated right. Something going on behind the scenes. Of course, you should be able to ask the hell out. Yeah. Does anybody believe that's actually happened to Kyrie Irving? No chance. Is there one person watching or listening to this that says, you know what? Kyrie got wronged by the Nets. How did he get wronged? They put him on a team. You got KD. Then you got James Harden. You got all the guys you want. You guys were going to be great. Then you're not going to be great. Then it's your team. Then it's not. Then you were talking about contract extension. So really it came down to they didn't give you the damn money you thought you wanted. And you said, okay, now for the 19th time, get me the hell out. That's what happened. So you go take your sorry ass to Dallas and keep your mouth shut about being celebrated. Sorry. Excuse me. I mean, that's a garbage, right? All right, hear about being celebrated. Now, in real life, and even in the NBA, if what Kyrie is talking about happened and somebody getting disrespected, then absolutely, somebody putting shame on you, somebody putting you down, somebody not handling you the right way in the organization, then absolutely, your family, they didn't handle them right in the organization, then absolutely, your friends, they didn't handle them right in the organization, and absolutely. But I don't want to hear Kyrie, with what happened to him, telling me about who hasn't been celebrated when his ass should have been literally, forget it, put out to pasture by that franchise for all the crap he put them through over the last 2.5 years. Sorry. Voluntarily should have gotten them the hell out of there without asking for a trade. Now, the Kevin Durant situation is sort of a little bit different. Because look, Kyrie wasn't playing. Kevin Durant dragging them over almost all the way through Giannis and the Bucks, right? Then Kevin Durant wanted out. Then that whole thing was kind of hot garbage in its own right. But then he was back in. Then he was playing, and then he's hurt again. So it's like on again, off again. Let's get the tribute video for Kevin. And by the way, the Nets thanking Kyrie on Twitter. The Nets thanking Kyrie on Twitter is like finding, in your ex's, now ex's, cell phone, all the different guys she's been sleeping with when she ain't paying attention to you, and then going ahead and saying thank you for everything and meaning it and not with sarcasm. And I may have lived some of that. But who would thank those people? Yes, thank you for all the things that I know you did to me. But thank you. Nets thanking Kyrie. Are you kidding me? Shoo. But Kevin Durant, does he have a point? Is it good for the game? What he did, you have a right to do. You can ask, but they're not asking for a trade. They're force-feeding and demanding a trade. That's Kyrie saying, I ain't going to play for you. I'm sitting down the rest of the year. You don't move me. That's Ben Simmons in Philadelphia saying, I ain't showing up until you move me. That's Anthony Davis saying, I'm glad we made the playoffs, but in a few months, get me the hell out of here. You better move me. And now you got no leverage because every other team knows you got to get out of that deal and of that player, and you can't get equal footing or equal trade value, no matter whether it's even Kyrie or Kevin Durant, two of the best players on this earth. You can't get that because that leverage is gone. Now what the heck are you going to do? So when you're sitting there and you're in a situation, if you're the Nets, and if you're the NBA, how in the world are you feeling is good for the game? The NBA this isn't the NHL in America, and I love hockey, but I'm just being fair, right? Is it not? This isn't boxing now with what the UFC and MMA has done to it. It's just not. Where now they need Francis Ngannou to try and do something with it. Jake Paul to do something with it. They don't need your attention. The NBA getting attention. You see the numbers the NBA gets, the money it makes. Nobody can figure out how to buffer league pass, my God, but you know how many people watching it? They don't need you. They need you on the court. They don't need you to demand trades to get their. I don't even want to hear that. So to me, the overall points of what they made, Kyrie, I wasn't celebrated, and Kyrie, the abused and the oppressed with the Nets. like they didn't pay attention to me. I mean, are you serious? What are you, 9 years old? That whole thing's garbage. And Kevin Durant sitting there telling me that the game needs this attention is garbage. But the question is, within that, is there anything wrong with them saying, yeah, you know what? I did want it. I did want the contract, but I don't like these guys. I don't like him. I don't like the coach. I don't like the dressing room. I don't like the locker room. I don't like the traffic. I don't like where I live. And I want the hell out. And is that good for the game? You decide. You, as those old commercials used to say, and I love them. You make the call. Let me know. Jump on board. On Twitter at Casey Stern. Comments on YouTube, vice versa, Apple, Spotify, everywhere you get your podcasts. As always, We at Unfiltered brought to you by our good friends at Bet Online.